Today is May the 2nd, 2024. My name is Tanya Finchum. I'm with Oklahoma State University with the Oklahoma Oral History Research Program. Today I am in Tuttle to speak with Kelly and Anita Ford, who perform as Mr. and Mrs. Claus and during the holiday season and spread joy to young and old. Before we get into the Christmas aspect of this, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
And let's begin with learning a little bit about each of you. Start wherever you like.
Hey, okay, I'll go. My name's Kelly Ford. I've lived in Oklahoma all my life. Was born in Guthrie. Grew up in a little town called Nakoma Park. Worked at Tinker Air Force Base for about 37 years in management. Retired from there in 2020, wasn't it? 2022, yeah, 2022. And basically, I was going history of Christmas with me and my family. As Christmas always was very big. We had a great big tree. My dad decorated outside of the house. In fact, he had got the popper mechanics and cut out the reindeer and stuff, outside the Santa that went up and down and, a lot of rope. So we always had kind of a big Christmas. In fact, he even portrayed Santa a little bit. And so my brother got a suit, he portrayed it some. And then I got hit up to be doing some Santa stuff for our office. I was able to borrow his suit, barely got into it. There's 5 inches difference in us.
Yeah, he's shorter.
She's shorter, so. And so I did that and enjoyed it. So I've been doing Santa basically all my life, doing some things. They said there's 4 stages of a man's life. Believes in Santa, doesn't believe in Santa, is Santa, looks like Santa. I skipped number 2. So, did that. And about 2018, 17, 18, I knew I was looking at retirement. And I knew I just didn't want to sit at home and do nothing. And so, I can grow beards because it's all natural. I don't have to do any kind of treatment to it at all. And that'll give me something to do between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Well, let me back up just a little bit on that, get my train of thought going. I got my own suit about 2005, something like that. I was doing volunteer work. Really my first, just kind of doing things for the office and stuff. But by that time, our daughter was working as a social worker at the Norman VA Center over the dementia unit. And she asked me if I would come down there and be a Santa for her patients. I said, sure. So I went and did that. Then they hit me up about being Santa for the whole center. Okay, I can do that. So I went down there and volunteered to do that. At that time, I was still what they call a traditional beard Santa, which is a fake beard. I had the fake beard on. And so I did that. And there was a lady down there, her name was Janice, was working, and she hit me up, says, we need a Santa for Ardmore and Sulphur. We don't have one. They work those VAs. Can you do it? I said, when? She says, next week. Let me check my schedule. So yeah, I could do it. So I went down there and did those 2 the same day. I did that for years, and Head Start started picking me up and all that. And so that's, I said, about 2017, I was going to retire, legally retire, want to do something to do, because all I thought about was basically the volunteer work, filling in here and there. Grew my beard and did a few little gigs and things like that. And in 2020, we also joined the Santa organization here in the state, the OOHRP, which is the International Brotherhood of Real Beard Santas chapter here in the state. We joined that to do a little social networking and was a member of the national organization. And so we were doing I was doing a few other things. Anita Woodley wasn't doing much at that time, except tagging along with me.
Helping you get dressed.
Helping me get dressed and stuff, make sure I was put together. And in 2019, one of the popular Santas here in the city area had a stroke and really could not perform anymore. And I made contact with a photographer at a show that it's one of those, chance had she came up, so are you a Santa? I said, yes. And I gave her one of my business cards and we kind of talked. And I said, who's your Santa? She told me, said, well, he's very good. Said, if you ever need to, fill in, he's sick or something, give me a holler, I may be available. Well, he no longer could work with her because of the stroke, and she contacted me, went out and met. We took, came to agreement, what everything on the financial part of it and the business side of it. So I started doing that, and she's one that all the other photographers will follow. And all of a sudden, my photography side just blew up underneath me, which I had no idea. I think last count I worked with 4 different photographers in the city area. So my season basically starts November 1st. Okay. And it's actually going to be up into October this year. And so that really surprised me on that. The other thing that kind of, the business side of doing the event side, was commercial work, because Nafy's jewelry store contacted me, and I worked for them on their commercial ads. So that started up. Then basically to doing the corporate gigs and civic gigs that I didn't realize was out there, because all you see is the mall Santas. And so we mainly do the corporate stuff where, a company will throw a party like First National Bank or whatever, will throw a party, they'll have to bring a Santa in and to greet the people, do things like that, photo ops, things like that. Yeah, we still see the children, but so we do a lot of that type of work. I still do some volunteer work when I can. Some of it, of course, just by progression has moved on. And so like I work with the Northwest Rotary Club and their shops at North Park Mall, where they have Santa come in for photos, and that's their fundraiser. So I work with them a few days a week. And so do the VA centers when I can. And so but we're always looking for volunteer things to do. We've done meeting the troops coming in from Fort Sill going home out the airport. That's really a late night because they get in about midnight. So midnight to 2 o'clock in the morning we're out the airport. So we have been. 2020 was definitely a challenge with all the COVID stuff. Yeah. And we did a lot more home visits during 2020 because people were wanting normalcy. They didn't want the masks, they didn't want the shields, they wanted to be normal. So we tried to fulfill that requirement for them. And you can take over whenever you want to. Well, I don't want to steal your thunder, how you became.
Well, that's okay.
So that's kind of how we got into it. And so definitely been interesting, some of the situations you get into. Santa knows everything, and the kids tell him everything. So do adults too.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And so you find yourself in situations you never thought about. And a prime example is this: back when we were working together, we was down at the Norman VA, and we was working with their big day room and, greeting the residents and all that. And one of the staff called me and says, my residents can't come down. Do you mind coming up to their little day room? Not a problem. I'm done here. Take me up. So he took us up to his little day room. We met all of them. She said, we have a patient that's extremely ill and can't come out. You mind going to see him? Nope, not a problem. I got a gift for him. Yep. Here's a gift. Name. Tell me the name. I hit the door and said, Merry Christmas, and realized extremely ill means he was comatose taking his last breaths, and the family was gathered around. And you got to hold it together.
You do.
And family wanted pictures. We shot the pictures, handed the gifts, and so we held it all the way through that. Left. The doctor thanked us for doing that. Said it was very important to the family that they got to spend the last Christmas with him. So you get in situations, then you get into funny situations. I'll let you tell those.
It's okay. Some of them we don't need to talk about.
Well, because at the VA centers, and of course that's their home, so the guys have no filters, and that's okay. But when they kind of the joke we have between us is when they see me, they're 6 years old. Well, when they saw Mrs. Claus, they turned 16 years old.
Well, and the reason though for that, initially when I was going into the VA centers, I did have a short dress on. I had leggings on and boots, but I had on a short dress. And they weren't used to seeing the women up there dressed like I was. And so they were very amorous. They propositioned me constantly. Then some of them, they just want you to sit down with them, and they think that you're their wife, their daughter. Don't want you to leave. They want to dance with you. And I had one gentleman, I didn't know if I was ever going to get away from him. He started off all happy and ended up crying because nobody comes to see him, and please don't leave me, I'll be all alone. And that gets kind of tough, but you kind of find your way to get out and move on, because obviously you can't sit there with him for 3 hours or 4, whatever he would want. But we've been in the psych ward, where we're behind closed doors with a lot of the patients, and that's also gets extremely interesting. But yeah, that's
Your social work daughter give you some clues on how to handle
Nope.
not a thing. No, not a word.
Not a word.
No.
So I'll let you take it from here. How you?
Sorry about that.
So let's go back to where were you born and raised?
I was born here in Oklahoma City, raised Midwest City, Del City. Went to college at Central State University, which is now UCO. Graduated from there with a degree in liberal arts. Worked out at Tinker Air Force Base. I was out there for about 35 and a half years. I always had a dream of being a teacher. And so he encouraged me. He says, well, go take the test, go see what it takes. And oh my gosh, I passed it. And then I got an interview and I got hired. And it's like, now what do I do? Because I'm still working at Tinker, but they're wanting me, oh yes, we want to hire you. Can you report tomorrow? But anyway, so all that happened. Worked, taught for a little bit and said, yeah, this isn't what I really want to do. I'm good. But I stayed in the education area, working with counselors and stuff in more public schools. I was in the administration office over there. I also did work as a paraprofessional at the elementary school, been a substitute teacher, a long-term sub, but kind of gave all of that up once he retired. Christmas at my house was not a big deal at all. I don't think Santa come to see me. My dad thought that was a bunch of foolishness. I mean, I had gifts, but they made sure that I knew who they were from. And so there's absolutely no memory or recall of anything ever going to see Santa or sitting on his lap or him, like I said, leaving me presents. Nope, all my presents were from Mom and Dad. Daddy might put lights in the window, but not much. It was just not a big deal. Then we started going down to my grandmother's, and I had 3 cousins that was also in the area. Well, they were younger than I was, and so I had to pretend with them because Santa did come to see them. He didn't come to see me because he didn't know I was down there. That was the story I was told. So, I mean, it is what it is. So Christmas was never just that big of a deal to me. And then we got together, and he's all about all this decorating and lights all over the house and stuff, and I'm just kind of, what is wrong with you? We never had stockings at my house. Now we have stockings, and I mean, we've got big stockings that are like, 3 or 4 foot tall that we have to fill for our kids that, although they were all a little bit older, they weren't babies or, they weren't little. The youngest, when we got married, our youngest was in junior high. So, but we still had to fill their stockings and do all this stuff. So then when he started doing the Santa thing, I would go with him to help him get dressed because he had on a fake beard, he had on a wig, he had a fake belly, and trying to load all that in and get dressed and make sure that his belt was on straight and his wig was on straight. It kind of took 2 of us. And so I kept going with him. And I thought, well, then I'm just sitting there watching him, for a couple of hours. Well, okay, I may as well do something. So I got a little outfit and kind of went on a couple of the things to the VA centers with him. And that's where I really kind of got started. So then he decides, he says, I think I really want to do this. I said, okay, here's the deal. If you're going to do it, we're going to do it right. We're not going to have this little cheap off the shelf suit. Let's get some training. Let's find out. We want to be the best. I don't want to be somebody go, look at that tacky Santa. He looks ridiculous, because there's a lot of those out there.
I've seen a few.
And so we found a school up in Branson, Missouri to go to. That's like about 3 or 4 days. Not three, about 3 or 3 days. Sunday. 3 days of training, which we didn't know that there was really training, but there is. There's all different aspects of being Santa. And then we found a costumer there that she's from England, and she makes custom suits. So we bought a couple of her suits, and then I got dresses and outfits to match his suits, and it has just blown up from there.
So financial investment from the
there's a huge financial investment with the schools. We buy insurance because we live in a crazy world. So you have to protect yourself and make sure you're covered.
We go through background
checks.
We
go through background checks
every year. Usually about October, 90 days out before Christmas, so they really want you to have. So about September, October, we go.
And not everybody requires that.
But
it's just another level of safety for us in case somebody, wants to say, oh, I bet Santa's got some money. Let's see what we can get off of him. I don't know. So there's a lot of training we started off doing home visits mostly.
Would you have to be bonded too then if you're going into someone's home?
That's what the insurance kind of does for you. And also the insurance we have protects our outfit. So if little Johnny spills chocolate milk on you and runs your outfit, it should be covered.
Okay.
The other thing is we have both been, I think what really helped us is we've both been in plays.
In high school, college and stuff. We have a little bit of theatrical background, not a lot.
Not a lot, but enough to know that we want to bring the A game to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
we want to be believable.
Yeah.
So we started off really doing home visits, which that's extremely hectic. And you may be driving from Edmond for one, and you've got 20 minutes to make it to Shawnee. and then back and forth. So we did, but we've slowly been getting away from the home visits because that does limit you on the amount of children you get to see. So now we're more into the corporate events, for the civic events. He does a lot of photography work with mini sessions for the photographers. So he gets a lot of one-on-one time with the kids, maybe 5 or 10 minutes in a session.
Yeah.
So they really get to have a Santa experience instead of just throwing up on the lap, next kid, come on in, which is that's what you're going to get at the mall, Bass Pro, Cabela's type of thing. And he had no desire for that. I don't do as much photography. I do have a couple that I'm doing baking with Mrs. Claus.
Oh, that's fun.
Which is weird because I don't cook. My Mrs. Claus is not the grandma baking with the apron on. I'm not wearing that apron. I'm not wearing that little silly hat. Well, to me it's silly. It's called a mod hat. A lot of women like that, and that's okay. The good thing about Mrs. Claus is we are not pigeonholed into a specific look. We don't have to have white hair. Most of my wigs that I wear I do have some white wigs, but they'll be long and curly. I don't have it up in a bun. I might wear a tiara. I also have flower garlands that I will wear in my hair. So I try not to look like I've been cleaning the house or baking the cookies.
When you talk to like kids, especially little girls, how I approach Mrs. Claus is, who do you think runs the North Pole? And they kind of, well, you do. Well, how can I run the North Pole if I'm down here? And they kind of think about it. So, well, you think about it. Mrs. Claus runs the North Pole because she's always up there. And so she kind of comes off as Chief Operating Officer of the North Pole. I may be the CEO, but she's the Chief Operating Officer. She makes sure everything's okay. So when she does accompany me, we always make it very special that she's here because she hardly ever gets away this time of year. And what's kind of interesting is on the Mrs. Clauses, a lot of people don't understand what Mrs. Claus brings to the table.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. So
okay. And so when it said this, we'll be working like 3 events. One wants Mrs. Claus, the third one wants Mrs. Claus, the middle one didn't really want Mrs. Claus. And so we say, hey, look, she's going to be with me. She can get set in the car. She can come in, no charge. And I'll go ahead and let her bring her in. Usually, if they get her in there, then before we leave, there we got both of us back for next year. With little kids, I'll let you take this one.
Well, a lot of children, a few children are going to be terrified of Santa. You always see the screaming, kicking, nope, not going there. A lot of times I can approach them and get them kind of to settle down where they're not afraid of me, and then I can work them into the picture. Maybe they may stand by me. They're not even close to him, but they can stand by me, and they're okay with that. And sometimes they just want me. They said, no, he has to go. We just want you. Okay. But again, kids are used to women in their lives at daycare, at school, and I look more like somebody they might see normally, where he's got all this hair and this big furry coat. So he's a little bit intimidating. And plus, kids have always been told Santa's watching you. So now, they're terrified. And he's a rock star. I mean, it's kind of like if you were to meet your favorite movie star or singer, how would you react? I know how I would react, which I would be a blubbering idiot. And so for kids, when they see Santa, they can't process all of that information, but that's how they are reacting to him. Yeah. And they want to see him, but they don't. They're scared. And I get that too. So a lot of times I can get them and get them in a picture where he hadn't got a chance with them. I have had one kid, though, that I tried to approach him, and he didn't want any part of me. I was like, nope, you need to go on over there. Okay. So that's only been a one and done thing, but
And if the parent insists, even though the kid doesn't want to?
We go ahead and do this. I go and do the screaming pictures, even though I don't particularly care for it, but it's just what the parents exist.
yeah, they're the customer.
The other thing is, I never force a child to sit on my leg. I would say my lap, my leg. And it all depends on the age, because we're talking ones like 4 or 5, they can, talk. I ask if they want to stand right here in front of me, and a lot of them do. That's fine. We can stand right here in front of me. We can do everything without sitting on my leg. Mm-hmm. We ran into a situation at OU. We did the tree lighting at OU. And we were working that together. She was standing beside me, and a lady came up, and
one of the students,
yeah, and was standing by her so she was Mrs. Claus in between us, and she made the option, "You want me to move out of the way so you can stand by Santa and have your picture made?" And she says, "No, thank you, because I'm not allowed to stand by men for a picture." That was just
she was a foreign student,
so you got to honor that, and that's how we got the picture made. So, so it's kind of interesting. And we went to England last year and made a presentation on the American Santa, and thinking there, because usually England's ahead of us, that their Mrs. Claus were way out there, and it's just the opposite. Our Mrs. Clauses are way ahead of the English Mrs. Clauses. And they were really wanting to drill her on that, but we didn't have time to stay around. So we're scheduled to go back here probably next year after that.
Women coming through, huh?
Coming through, yeah.
A lot of women don't want to become a Mrs. Claus if their husband is a Santa. They're going, "I can't do that." And it's like, yeah, you can. Yeah. And once they kind of realize that they can be the Mrs. Claus they want to be, and that's, "I don't know how to act." I said, "You just be you. Other than you love everybody, and you don't scold the children. You don't give them correction. Everybody is wonderful. You love on all of them, and it's not like you're raising the kids. For a few minutes, for a picture, or for a little interaction, you can do that." And they go, "Oh, okay."
Or reading a story to them.
Or read a story to them. Which a lot of times when we have done home visits, I'm the one that will read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
Okay.
And what will happen is I will sit kind of around, and the children will be around me. Well, he will go maybe behind the kids so that they are just focusing on me. So I have my little spotlight for just a moment. And we're reading the story and going through it. And at the very end where it says, "And he drove out of sight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Well, that's when he will holler out, "Merry Christmas to all." He ends the story with his voice, and then he walks in, and then I might get up and walk behind and let the kids have their special time with Santa. And a lot of times when we are doing an event, we'll say, "Do you want Mrs. Claus?" "No, I don't want it." "Okay, how much is it?" And I'm just going to throw a figure. This is not ours. "Okay, if you want Santa, it's $300. If you want Santa and Mrs. Claus, it's $300. And they're saying, why is our...
we'll go up if it just...
Or go up. Or okay, if you want Santa and Mrs. Claus, it's $300. If you want Santa alone, it's $350. Why?
Because I got to do more
Because
work.
He has to do a whole lot more work. They go, "Well, okay, yeah, bring her in." And then after that, they're sold. Yeah. Then they go, "Oh, yeah, you got to come back next year. You both have to come back." So it's just kind of getting the public used to a Mrs. Claus. Sometimes the kids think I'm his mother because I don't think about Santa being married. So I must be his mother. No. One thing we have to learn is we have to have our backstory the same. Because kids they'll ask both of us the same questions to see if we've got the same story. Where's the reindeer? How did you get here? Who's their head elf? How long have you been married? So all of this. So we have a backstory that we both know, and then we can just
So a lot of times
confirm each other's story.
Yeah.
Then the kid goes, okay, I guess I must be real then.
Yeah, like when we were together, I said, well, where's your sleigh at? I said, well, we had to fly into an airport out here because FAA only allows me to fly it around on Christmas Eve. We have to land in and take a car, but we brought Mrs. Claus sleigh down this time. You know, she has one. Well, we did, and then I'd say, you want to talk about your sleigh?
Yeah, so I have a blue sleigh.
Blue and silver.
That's blue and silver. Yeah, it's pulled by 2 reindeer, but mine has a top on it and heated seats because I don't like the cold. I was trying to think of what else we do. This last year, I had pictures of reindeer, and I kind of gave them a little backstory on each one of our reindeer on, like you were describing your kids. Well, this one likes to play games. You know, he does really well in school and all this. And so you have to kind of change things up if you see the same people year after year.
Yeah, I'm thinking next year the child might come and say, how's so-and-so doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you've got to be ready for that. They like to play games. One thing they like that we do is the reindeer Macarena, which is pretty cool. It doesn't take a whole lot of thought process behind it. I mean, it's easy, but the kids just love it because you just keep, you do the reindeer's names. You do Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, Rudolph, but you're doing the motions to the Macarena at the same time. And every time you do it faster and faster and faster. Well, so then by that time, everybody's laughing and on the floor and giggling.
Especially get some dads up there.
If you get dads up there and he usually kind of starts off trying to do it and he intentionally screws up. Well, no, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but he will screw up. And I'll say, Santa, you need to go have a seat. You've messed everyone up now. And the kids love that because now he's on the naughty list because he's done something.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing we talking about the naughty list. Of course, kids love cookies. I said, Oreos, you dip them in milk. Yeah. You sometimes make a mess with your Oreo cookies. Yeah, I said, I do too. I get in my beard and on the table. You know what happens when I do that? No, I said, I get put on a naughty list. I said, isn't that kind of funny saying on a naughty list? Yeah, guess whose naughty list I get put on? I don't know, Mrs. Claus, and you don't want on her naughty list. And she just over, yeah.
Yep, he makes a big mess.
Yes. So the other thing good about a Mrs. Claus, especially when doing events, because they may have us park like in a park, it's downtown in a parking garage, and we got to go a block or so to get into the hotel. Well, Santa's gonna get stopped every 2 feet for pictures, whatever. Well, he can't really be the bad guy.
That's true.
So Mrs. Claus, let's say give you a handler. Mrs. Claus turns into your handler, saying, "Come on, Santa, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go," and she kind of keep pulling it along.
Because he's not supposed to say no to the kids.
Right.
He's supposed to be available, and he wants to be available, but you've got to get to your event.
And the other thing is, I also use her because I give out stickers. I met Santa stickers, and so like we're doing a civic event, like at me and Santa at the park or whatever. I meet talking, and I said, "Well, go to Mrs. Claus. She has something for you." So she gives me a handoff that I can, send the kids, get their little sticker, and I can bring the next one up. So there's a lot of value to Mrs. Claus that,
Well, and also I can, if there's a line of kids kind of lining up to see him, and he's visiting with one of them, well, I can kind of look down the line, and sometimes I'll pick up on things about a child, or might hear their name, or just whatever. Maybe somebody that's not getting up to the front of the line, that they're all cutting in front of him, and I can go get them and make sure that they get up there, and I can tell him, so I give him a little insight once in a while on the kids, because sometimes they'll talk to me, or I'll go out and talk to them while someone else is with him, and they'll say, "Santa, did you know that she loved that little doll we got her last year?" And so the kids are it's unbelievable to them that we've taken that much interest in them, and at least faking it. But they don't know.
Do you have to keep up to date on what the most popular toys are so you can have some
Yes.
of that?
It would be
conversation?
nice, but last year we didn't keep up.
It threw me for a loop from last
I
year.
don't know. Yeah.
Because I was meeting and someone said they wanted a Stanley Cup. Okay, so my first thought was hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, well, you like hockey? No, I want a Stanley. The Stanley drinking cup was the most popular gift
Like
last
a
year.
Yeti or whatever.
Yeti or whatever. For some reason, all the girls wanted a Stanley Cup.
No.
Different colors, all that. The other thing is you never, unless you know for sure that child's getting that, you never promise.
Yeah.
You say, well, I'll see what I can do for you. And unlike on pets, I got to have permission to bring a pet in, but I'll tell you what may be a better idea is you talk to your parents and maybe you could go adopt a pet out of a shelter and give it a permanent home as a Christmas present. They say no, so the parents like that. So yeah, you can have a puppy. All parents are now on the hook.
Yeah, you don't promise animals.
Cookies, another one. What's your favorite cookie? Well, round ones. Well, you don't want to say I like snickerdoodles or something like that, because then someone's gonna have to either make them, buy them, or whatever.
You put mom on the
hook.
spot,
So I would
yeah.
say snickerdoodles. Or I may say, well, what's your favorite? And they say, oh, Oreos. I love Oreos, and I can start with that, or chocolate chip, or things like that.
So we don't want to throw mom under the bus to make sure that we've got this special cookie when that's not her thing. She may be great at chocolate chip, and if he says, well, I like macadamia nut, it's like, oh, now what do? I gotta do that. So try not to throw the parents under the bus.
If you're lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
Reindeer food.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I tell them to make sure to not give them leave them any broccoli, because Santa has to ride behind them, and
broccoli
sometimes
gives them gas.
broccoli. And I said that it's not, and so the kids really like that. Thinking about all the reindeer passing gas on Santa.
Yeah.
All of these things you've learned over time.
Yeah, you learn every year, and you also learn by talking to
others.
And that's what's good about the groups. We get together, we say, hey, this is what happened this season and all that. 2 years ago, I learned to carry a Sharpie with me because I signed about 20 cats that year. Kids broken arms or whatever, and they would say, can you sign right here? Well, so all of a sudden I need to carry a Sharpie, because Sharpie signs on a cat's a whole lot easier than a
pinwheel. Or crayon.
And so like that information I passed on to the other Santas in our group. Carry a Sharpie. They may think about carrying the Sharpie. The other thing we got to really worry about in season is our diet. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell we're worried about it.
Yeah, we're worried about it. Well, purposely, I will not eat not really peanuts or stuff like that all through season, because you don't know what you're going to encounter with allergies with children down the coming up to see you. They don't want any peanut oil, peanut on her breath. Had one mother ask me if I had popcorn that day. Her child was very allergic to corn oil or corn soap.
Yeah.
Corn syrup.
So lots of lettuce, huh?
Yep. Pets. That's another one. You want little Fido or whatever. Well, you got to be real careful with that, because you get hair on your suit. Especially if you're dealing like cats, you're going to get hair on your suit. Well, little Johnny coming up may be highly allergic to cats. And so you got to think of all that, not just what you got, but what's downstream from you.
Well, and the same as for wearing any type of cologne.
Cologne, yeah.
You just don't know, because you're subjected to all kinds of people with all kinds of allergies and sensitivities, and you don't want them to have a bad experience go into a sneezing fit while they're sitting on with Santa. That's not what you want them to remember. So you've got to be very careful to just be not really smell. You need to be neutral. Yeah.
Well, how do you stay cool with
You don't.
You don't.
You don't. They do have cooling vests that you can wear under the suits. The problem with those, though, if you are in an event that you're going to be there 2 or 3 hours, perhaps, and we have done those, at some point that cooling vest is going to stop cooling
and turn into a
heating vest. And then to change it out, you've got to get completely undressed. So that's not really conducive to your comfort. So you just learn to.
Yeah, with some of the suits I wear, because since I wear the parade coat and the waistcoat or the vest, I can take the upper coat off sometimes, and that way I just have
your suspenders.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I wear suspenders. I've learned because you don't know when some little 13, 14-year-old child, they can be funny deep and Santa, so you wear suspenders. The deal. Shorts underneath that, because Santa doesn't need to rip his pants and have his tighties whities showing. The other thing is hands. You gotta be real careful with your hands. And so I wear white gloves. Most Santas do. But anytime you're working with a child especially, you always make sure your hands are visible in the picture.
And flat. And you leave them flat.
As flat as possible.
So every picture you've got to make sure.
And the white gloves help us stand out. That is your hand. So yeah.
Yeah, that's just things you.
Has that always been the case? I mean, from day one, or just as?
That's something we've picked up in training and things.
But that's
like that.
just been within the last 5 or 6 years, just because of.
Mm-hmm. Well, they proved one lady took her little girl to like 11 different Santas in one day. And she finally got one that I guess the hands were not visible. And she sued that Santa for inappropriate touching or whatever. And the insurance company was able to go back and prove that she was trying to do it to make money and the Santa was cleared. But yeah, no, that's something that.
There's always a dark side, isn't there? Do they pull?
Yep, they pull. And what you got to learn is when they pull, don't go against it, go with it. Because,
and a lot of times I will encourage them because they'll look at him and ask him if he's real. So, are you real? I said, well, pull his beard. What do you? And I'll even grab it and do it like that. And they're like, oh, okay. And,
I'll talk about the evolution of your beard.
the evolution of my beard.
That's probably about 6 weeks growth.
Yeah. My beard grows very fast. This is all natural, which I get a lot of Santa envy.
Well, a lot of them are. They're all dark-headed. I mean, he's obviously a natural blonde.
They'll have to bleach your beard, whatever. They'll bleach it for the season to get it white. Their hair. It takes them a long time to grow it in. I go about every off season. I go about every 6 weeks or so to my barber, and she'll, trims me up and all that. Then we go into season about every 4 weeks.
Okay.
That she keeps it, and that's she's kind of funny is that she knows it's really not doing anything. It's about 2 minutes. She's done with me. When it's getting the photo, saying she's maybe 15, 20 minutes. She's going through scissors, clicking one little hair at a time. So, but yeah, it's really hard for me to talk about, I'll say, beard care because this is what.
That's just it.
That's it. That's what Lord gave me, the nature.
Well, when you started 10 years ago or so.
It was about this color.
Was it? Okay.
I was the little troll-headed boy in school that everybody said, that hair color is a waste on a boy. Because it was blonde, blonde, blonde.
I think when you were in your 20s, his beard had more of a red tint to it. But as he got older, it just naturally, and it's just going to kind of go platinum now. I mean, so there's not a big change difference of going from dark to gray or white. And that's what most of the guys do have that. There's very few, except his brother, who has obviously the same exact coloring and looks
Yeah.
about 95% like he does, just shorter.
What, do you ever shave it completely off
No.
between seasons?
I have never seen him even without a mustache since I've known him.
Well, how long have you been doing the curl? Handlebar, or whatever you call it. What do you call
Okay, I curl my mustache.
What do you call it?
Well, okay, curl the mustache is kind of, back when my girls were 12 and 13, they always embarrass their parents or whatever. So I thought I'd have fun. I knew about the curl. So I started curling my mustache to kind of, dig in. Well, all their friends thought it was cool. It backfired on me. So I had all the way up to, we kind of started dating, and then I kind of dropped the curls and just let it go naturally down.
Because I don't care for the curls.
Yeah.
But I understand for the character, and so I just go with it, and it's his face. He gets to do whatever he wants with his face. But I prefer curls.
When I became Santa, okay, did you leave down up? Well, what we talking to photographers and stuff like that, the curls, because a man's face will normally just frown with age. And so with the curls, it helps bring out the smile.
I can see that.
Yeah. And then when you get the older, you say like the 16, 17-year-old girls, that they're old enough, you can have a little fun with them. So especially after you say, get one on each side. Now don't pull real hard, but then you go like that, like you're pulling, they look evil in the studio. So it works out. So
what do the VA patients say about it? Or do they?
They really don't say anything about it.
They might have beard envy too.
They may have beard envy.
Yeah, but no, they actually just kind of turn into little boys.
Boys, yeah.
They really do. They're little. You can tell they've gone back to their childhood, which is
especially the
that's
dementia
touching.
patients.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, the dementia patients, because they may not be responsive at all to, I take their hand or whatever, I get a response out of, and a lot of the staff are shocked. And
they relay their favorite Christmas gift or
several
something.
times, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. If they can talk or they remember something from their childhood, and even just for a few moments or something, and then they'll revert back to their.
Yeah. But I'm with them so little because I'm going through so they'll latch onto her. The other good thing about having a Mrs. Claus is when you work in a big room like that, she can keep an eye out for children, especially if we're doing adults. And she goes, "Oh, there's some children over here at this table. Make sure you get them."
Well, but also what we do is when we're working with a large group, we can split up.
Yeah,
so he will go to one side of the room, I'll start the other. And then everybody can at least see one of us. And we try to hit everybody if at all possible, both of us, but we're not just together the whole time. So we each get to have a little bit of a one-on-one with each of the residents, and they may not even respond. They just may look at you like, you're a piece of paper, but that's okay. They got noticed and I always try to kind of touch them on their arm or something and look them in the eye. And
do you wear gloves?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't. I don't know. I haven't ever done that.
Yeah. Well, we worn some fingerless gloves before.
Yeah,
I
didn't like those, so they didn't really fit with my outfit. So I think, I'm good.
the gentle touch, though, without gloves.
Yeah,
probably
skin on skin.
More.
Some people like that skin on skin touch.
So you don't have to worry about it. Or what if you're in the picture? Do you have your hands have to be visible and straight?
Yeah.
I usually have mine out to where you can see it, or like if the children are standing in front of me, I'll have both of my hands on their shoulders, maybe. So I try to keep mine visible as well.
So much going through your head, but becomes second nature after you've done it a while. Maybe a little. It's almost choreographed in some sense.
Some things, yeah. And like I said, we know each other well enough that we have natural. Yeah, well, it is natural. Now the issue is when you have to work with another Santa. When I work with another Santa, or if I don't know if you've ever had to work with another Mrs.
Well,
Claus.
early on, I worked with other
real
Mrs.
early
Claus,
on. That gets a little challenging.
With elves.
Because you don't know that person, but yet you're supposed to know that person because your characters, intertwine. So that gets a little challenging. But fortunately, with the other Santas I've worked with, we both just fell into it very naturally. I have worked with his brother, so that's not all that hard to do because I know him too. But again, he's my Santa, and I'll hold on to his arm like that. Well, I'm not going to do that if it's just me and his brother. That's not happening. But yeah, if I'm with another Santa, I will hold on to him and I'll call him dear, and he will like maybe help me down the steps or something, hold my hand, and everything just is seamless. Because they'll go, are you guys married? Later on, they'll go, yeah, oh, no, not to each other. But yeah, we are. It doesn't always work that way. A lot of Santas don't want a Mrs. Claus. They feel like it impedes on their territory. And I just think they just don't know how to work with them. They haven't figured out the value yet. They think it takes away from Santa as the main event. No, we know Santa is the main event. We get it. And it's okay. What was funny this last year, we did the parade here in Tuttle, and I was just prepared to sit for photos and stuff, and he was going to actually be in the parade on top of a fire truck. And they came in and they said, "No, you need to come. We have a seat for you." No. But anyway, those very nice firemen helped me get up. And I've got this long dress on and all this garb. And so they're having to push me up because I can't see. I can't see the steps. And they said, "No, we got you. Don't worry about it." And it was amazing once I got up there and we started the parade, how many people were hollering, "Mrs. Claus," because they were shocked to see me up there too. So that was kind of neat.
You just don't see them very often.
No, you don't. And they were just, "Did you see Mrs. Claus is here? Oh my gosh." And so that was kind of cool.
What do you do when you see another Santa in character?
You get away.
We get away.
Well, Santa does. I don't have to. But they never see each other work.
Right.
Because
not real weird Santas.
Because you don't want to confuse the kids. So like if we go to the mall shopping, just as
like this,
and they have a Santa in the middle of a mall,
like
we try to stay away from that area, just because we don't want to be seen in the same spot. Now he'll still get noticed, obviously,
right.
But we just kind of don't. We don't even acknowledge it hardly. He just
get all your shopping done before November 1st.
Yeah.
Amazon is our friend.
Amazon.
Online shopping. So they just don't have time to. In fact, every now and then we'll have a day off, during the day. Says, "Let's go to the mall and be normal people."
Mm-hmm. Maybe not buying anything.
Buy anything.
So if your season starts November 1st, October 31st, when does it end?
The Santa season and the suit and all that ends. We and ours are Christmas Eve. We have a couple Christmas Eve visits. Don't do anything on Christmas Day. Some do, some don't.
We have
before. We often not do it anymore. But as actually not dealing with Santa stuff or Claus stuff, it never ends. It's 365 days a year.
We're constantly booking.
Getting
supplies, making sure all of his suits are clean.
More of the benefits of having a Mrs. Claus to do some of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Going to training, conferences.
So you've already started booking for this coming?
Oh, we're already booked.
We're already booked.
There's very little.
I could book 2025 right now if I'd open the books up with the photographers.
Do you see an end date when you might retire from this?
Yeah,
hopefully.
When you reach 100?
Well, there's a lot of Santas out there, and bless their hearts for still wanting to do it, but they're on a cane. We've seen them on a walker. They have got oxygen tank they're dragging around. My mind of Santa, he doesn't do all that. If he's supposed to be going around the world and delivering presents and going up and down chimneys, those guys are not what I would envision a Santa to be. Now, maybe they're just sitting at the mall
Yeah.
and they're not getting, and that's okay then. But they could not do the events that we do.
True.
But so I'm hoping that if we ever got to that point, that we would have the sense enough to say we need to stop.
Or start phasing it down. Say, okay, I'm only going to do these type of events, like a volunteer or working with the Rotary Club and all that, where I'm stationary. I'm not moving around.
Well, but even when he does photography work, a lot of times he's up moving around because trying to get a connection with the kids, because the parents will just bring them in and they want to throw them up there with him. And sometimes that's not the best to do. And a few of the photographers will have like a little coloring station or something where the kid can kind of go over there and color and maybe watch what's going on. Well, he can get up and go color with them.
And I do.
And he does. A lot of, with the autistic kids, a lot of them are going to be in the floor. He will get in the floor with them. And if you're on a walker or got a cane, you're not going to be doing that.
No, well, you may get a floor.
You're just not going to get up.
Dealing with children with special needs is definitely, it can be a little bit of a challenge. Because you can't be, boast and all that. You got to really tone it down, and you got to let them dictate what they want or what I get to it. They may have some in a wheelchair. Well, I'm not going to sit back and just put the wheelchair in front of me. I'll usually get down and get by the wheelchair. Or if they're really standoffish, I have one girl. She just graduated from high school. She's about 22. Loves Santa, believes in Santa, will not see Santa. And I used to work with her mom. And so we ended up doing, because the first year I was getting the letters. Parents would bring me the letters at work, and they worked for me, and so I would read, the letter in front of a Christmas tree, shoot a little video, and send it to them. This is what you want for Christmas. I'll see what I can do and all that. And I asked her mom, and said, your daughter going to send a letter? Nope, because she wants wireless headphones, and Santa's a toy maker that will make it. Not a problem. I can handle that. I said, do you have an elf on the shelf? Yeah, but he doesn't do anything. Not a problem. What's the elf's name? Mr. Elf. I got it. So I shot a little video and said, Emma, I noticed I haven't got your letter yet this year. And when Mr. Elf was up here, I asked him why. And he said, I went to the wireless headphones thing. I said, yeah, you're right. I'm a toy maker and I don't, make wireless headphones, but I do feel special requests. So I told my old school I'd buy you some wireless headphones. I knew she was getting them. And sent that video to her. So now we got this video thing on. So that's how she sees Santa. She does by video. She'll send me a video, and I'll check with her mom. Says, "Okay, this good?" and back and forth. And I was working Citrusdale Park, and the lady brought her grandson up to see me, and I saw this girl away about 25, 30 feet away. She said, that's close you're gonna get. And so I saw her grandson. I said, "Hi Emma, how you doing?" And her dad would say, "How did he know her name?" And so we kind of she waved back, and she was good. So you gotta learn how to understand them and what they want.
How about sign language?
Do a little bit of sign language, like Santa loves you. I don't do the
ASL.
ASL.
We don't do that.
I don't do that. So there's some that you pick up on.
Or Hispanic.
Hispanic, yeah.
Say Feliz Navidad.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not just real
bilingual.
We're not bilingual.
There is a Santa that works at the Northwest Rotary Club with them, who is a deaf Santa. He is deaf. And he does the sign language and all that. And they have a special time set up for all the children that are hard of hearing to come in and see him. I know like this is, yay, clapping and stuff like that. So I picked up some along the way, but I am no sign language expert by a long shot.
Yeah, smiling is good enough, I guess, too. Do you practice your ho, 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 or?
Okay, the ho, ho, ho is how you write Santa being Charlie. he does not say that.
Okay.
I mean, he laughs.
He laughs just like other people. He giggles, he laughs, but he doesn't do it.
That was so funny, Mrs. Claus.
Okay, so that's one of the things that we've learned in our training
So I
on
wouldn't
how
guess.
Santa laughs.
Yeah.
He does not say ho, ho, ho. He doesn't come into a room and go ho, ho, ho. No, you don't. You can be jolly and laugh, but that's just a laugh being written out
Okay.
for the story. So
Okay,
that's
good.
something that a lot of people go, oh, okay, I hadn't thought about that.
Oh, it's just ho,
Or
ho, ho,
you-
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Or you say, what's, ho, ho, I know, what's, no, Santa walking backwards.
Oh, in one of the trainings that we have, we practice Kringles, which is because Santa smiles constantly for
Yeah.
pictures. And so you've got to build these muscles up in your face. Otherwise, you're going to be exhausted.
You have cramps in your face.
You have cramps in your face because you're smiling 6 or 7 hours a day going through photo shoots. And so, so there's a
Kringle.
little exercise called Kringles that, you just maybe do it for 20 or 30 seconds every time you maybe get in the car or
Yeah, 20
walk down
Kringles
the
a
hall
day.
or something.
so you're off season or maybe a month ahead.
All the
just
time.
all time. But
It's like
you
working
can.
out. You go to the gym all the day. You do your Kringles all the time. The one thing we learned is, because I used to go in first and no, at Santa and Mrs. Claus is, we go, how would you go on with your husband into a room?
How would I?
Yeah, you got to go in together or,
Or
He always goes in first, and
He does?
I tag along behind.
everybody-
We kind of did
Yeah.
that, but we've stopped. Now I go first if we
Open the
can't
door
walk in
for you.
together.
And if we go on together, she's always on my right hand side because that is tradition, and that goes back to the medieval times.
And we try to make sure that we present ourselves as a loving couple
So-
because a lot of these kids, they don't get to see that modeled
So-
for them.
So we may be walking in the room, she'll have a hold of my hand, and we're sitting, we're almost like we're talking, and look at all these wonderful people here, and then I kind of we get boasted and
Yeah, so we try to just be a normal. Well, what's normal for us and what's normal for someone else down the road is going to be two different things. But you just have to realize you may be the only loving person that child comes in contact. You don't know what their home life is like. You don't know what their school life is like. So even if just for a moment that you can show them that they are loved and that people are kind and thoughtful, that means a lot to people and to us. Just to know that you can be that way to show them something that's not normal.
What do you do for self-care during your busiest season? Like downtime or relax?
okay, during the season, I eat a lot of airborne. Daddy fought my sinuses.
Get sneezed on some, I would imagine.
He's actually got an
sneezed
ear
on, so-
infection.
Eardrops.
He has one particular photographer, love her to death, but she has
Unfortunately, she wasn't the only one doing that year. All of them were.
okay, but they all
The shot of the year.
they
that
want to
was-
whisper in Santa's ear. Okay, number one, that's a bad shot because you don't get to see the kid's face. You're seeing Santa, but not the kid. By the end of the season, he had an ear
And
infection
this one here,
for all the kids
spitting in my
whisper
ear.
and spitting in the ear.
Because kids don't whisper, do a dry whisper. It's a wet whisper.
Okay.
So, and that's not it would be a better picture to have a picture of Santa whispering in their ear. Then that way you've got the kid's face
Yeah,
because
sure.
that's what you want is your child. Yeah, but some photographers haven't figured that out yet.
But you have to understand that I know that, okay, I'm Santa Kelly. Well, they don't know me as Santa, they know me as Santa. So that little picture will go from them to their, to be maybe on their man, or well, this is, your dad, mommy and daddy when he was on, the grandparents and all that. It's Santa. So you're creating a memory. You're making a memory. So
We, the community we lived in before, he worked with a lot of the photographers in the area. Well, we were not able to do their town Christmas get together, so they hired this other man to be Santa. Well, Kids did not like that. That was not their Santa because he was bald. And they knew that their Santa had hair. You are not my Santa. So we've got it where we are able to do the community event for those kids.
Right.
But again, a lot of the photographers in the area use him, so those kids are already used to seeing this particular
They
Santa.
see us around too. So
Yeah, and they see us around at the restaurant or something, so they think that's kind of cool. But kids will get in mind that no, you're my Santa. He's not. He's pretend.
And how do you help kind of smooth over that? Or do you
usually,
try?
what we do is and say especially my brother and I together because we do look alike, and they go, 2 of you, yeah. And they usually are a group of Santas. Say, yep, one of us is real, the other ones are the
Decoys.
Decoys. You just have to figure out which one's real. We can't tell you. You have to figure it out.
They will ask him, they say, "Are you the real Santa?" And he'll say, "Well, are you a real girl?" Oh,
Are you a real boy? Yeah.
Well,
Or,
okay then. I mean,
I'm
what
as real.
about me is not real?
Yeah. Or I'm as real as you want me to be.
And on Mrs. Claus, they'll say, "Well, last time I saw you, you looked different. You had brown hair, or you had." I said, "Well, I go to the beauty shop. I can change my hair." I said, "Does your mother change her hair? Does she sometimes?" "Well, yeah." "Well, okay."
Yeah.
But then it's fine. I said, "I'm whatever somebody in this room needs me to be." So I have a special closet. So just depending on when I open my closet in the morning depends on who I am that day. I can be short, I can be tall, I can be old, I can be young, I can be just whatever. I said, there's somebody in this room that needs me to look just like that. That way you don't tell the kid that it's all on them. That, oh, okay. And they buy that.
Yeah, and Santa can actually do the same thing too.
Yeah.
So you can have a little bit of more variety.
We have a good reason why Mrs. Claus will change. Because most likely, if you ever saw a Mrs. Claus other than me, she's not going to look like me. Okay, now how are you going to explain that? So it's just that Mrs. Claus has a magic closet, and then there's a story about Santa getting in the closet and what that does to him, and so he's forbidden to get in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's all these things that honestly, as a first time, if you just think, oh, I'm going to go be Santa. It's not just putting on a suit, and just because you're able to grow a little bit of facial hair does not make you, in my mind, a Santa. There is something about Kelly that just, his aura. He and his brother, again, he looks basically the same. They will see Kelly the other day. In fact, we were together at a store. And the guy says, "Oh, there's 2 of you." And Kelly said, "Well, you need to figure out which one's the real one." He goes, "Oh, it's you. I can tell." And they will say that every time. There is something about him that people can sense that if there is a real Santa, you must be it.
And you take that seriously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a huge responsibility. And so then with that knowledge, you have to understand that Santa cannot be seen in a compromising position.
Yeah.
He doesn't really want to be seen at the liquor store, not that we drink, but again, or being in a place that maybe you shouldn't be, or behaving in a way that would not be Santa-like.
Everybody has a camera.
Everybody's got a camera, and if you catch him in a bad mood and he's cursing somebody or whatever that just drove by and about run us off the road, if you catch that on camera, now Santa's been given a bad name. And there's a few out there that they have showed up to events that they were drunk.
Yeah.
There's a code of conduct.
Well, you would think.
We're independent contractors, so basically it's just whatever. There's not a Santa union, quote unquote.
And just because you're a Santa does not mean you're part of our group either. You don't have to be. There's a lot of Santas in Oklahoma that we don't even know about them. Just because they're not really part of our group, but you don't have to be. It's not like there's a job fair and we're pulling all the Santas in and working them out.
Well, to be in your group, you have to have a real
No.
real beard. No, okay.
Nope.
How many is in the
Right
on
now on our
average?
rolls, we
Yeah.
have about 108, but that's Mrs.
Miss-
Claus's and a couple of elves
Yeah.
too.
And the age range?
They're going to be probably most of them between 60,
I don't say 55 plus.
55 plus, most
Yeah.
of them. Now there are some younger guys in there, and that's okay. We need younger guys because these guys are going to get old and fall out.
Fall
so
out,
we've
yeah.
got to have somebody coming up behind them. But yeah, they're most of them around
Yeah.
our age and a little bit older.
So do you mentor some of them?
Oh, yeah.
If they ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mentor some, especially the new ones that come in. We mentor them and get some training. And the other good thing about being in a group, we had one Santa had a stroke right as season cranked in. He's in the Tulsa area. Of course, that means he's out, and we was able to find out some of the gigs that he was doing, and post it, say, "Hey, can anybody cover this?" And a lot of guys could, we could get him covered by changing him, people going after him. They're covered in that way. So that's a good thing about being in a group. You got a support network behind you.
Mm-hmm.
There is a unspoken rule that you do not steal in our group, you really don't steal another Santa's gig. And so if I say, can you cover this for me, that means
Once.
I want it back.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it this year, but if I give it to you, then you can have it, take it from it. So that's kind of what we do. And you talk about always being on, I carry with me all the time that these little cards, you can have this one. It says I met Santa. And I give that to the kids.
Cool.
I call them on a nice list and all that. So
That's part of your PR too.
that's
isn't
my
it?
PR. Yeah, but it doesn't have my name or anything on it. I do have business cards, but that one's mainly because you really don't want to give the child your phone number.
No.
Because they'll call you at 2:00 in the morning. You want to answer, you want to ask your question. No. So
One of the unspoken rules about when you're a big Santa and Mrs. Claus is once you start putting on the outfit, you are that person. So once we start getting dressed, even here at home, he's not Kelly, I'm not Anita. And if we're out at an event, I will never call him Kelly. He's either Nicholas for St. Nick or Santa. And he usually calls me Mrs. C. I hate that, but I don't know what else to do. So,
I
haven't come up with a first name for
there's
Mrs.
not
Claus
really a good first name
because
for
she doesn't
Mrs.
have
Claus.
one.
Or I call her Sweetie, Honey, or
She doesn't have one, and I don't like my name anyway. So, so Mrs. C works okay, but you never ever break character because again, you don't know who's watching, and you want to keep even if you're with adults. Now, my brother-in-law, he will break character. He makes no bones. He says, "Oh, they're adults. They know I'm not real." Oh, okay, that's fine. But we don't. If they say, "Oh, well, where are y'all from?"
the North Pole.
No, really. Where do you live?
North Pole. And kind of what I've learned out at the North Pole, but I have a landing strip out here in Tuttle that I can go land my reindeer at, put them away. So that usually kind of tells them where I'm at, and it satisfies them. So,
Do you drive a red car?
got a red T-bird.
Got a red Thunderbird.
Yeah.
Did you get red on purpose for that?
That's what she wanted. So.
No, I wanted red, but actually when I saw it, I just like red and blue, and red's easier to get than blue. So
Well, it's harder and harder to get a colored car these
Yeah,
days.
it
too,
is.
so I wonder if it's a truck. Santa in a truck.
probably, yeah. I'm trying to think of some other things that when we are especially at an event where there's food being served, we don't eat. Number one, you risk spilling something on your suits, which that gets, to clean one of his suits is about $45 a piece.
And how often during the season would you have to?
Yeah, well, it kind of depends on whether he's been sweating a lot.
Yeah.
I always had to wear. I tried getting away with only having maybe this one shrinking season once at the end of the season.
Now,
Per suit.
because he has multiple suits, he doesn't have to wear the same one over and over and over. So they're not going to get quite as, dirty or need cleaning as they would otherwise. But there was times I was usually at the cleaners like twice a week. They know me by name.
I wondered, especially they know how to treat it for sure.
Yeah,
then.
they do.
There's certain cleaners that will handle suits, and there's other ones that will not touch them. The cleaners that we use knows how to handle them, and like they don't dry them. They'll clean them. If they can, they'll let them air dry because they always ask for how quick you need it back. Because they usually take about 72 hours to do a suit
So you
turn.
got to plan.
And they want to make sure that, because our suits, the fur is not removable. So you want to make sure that red does not bleed over into the fur, because you can't get that out. A lot of guys will wash their suits. I haven't got that brave. It's like, no, it'll end up fitting, a Barbie doll by the time I come through with it. So we just dry clean all of them.
And where do you get them?
Where do we take them, or where do we get them?
Both, but
Well, we get it from England.
the suits come
Suits, yeah. There's a Heidi Tibble. She runs Santa Costumes UK is her Facebook page, but that's what she does. She makes Santa suits.
And then she has a man over here that sells stuff for Santa. And that's his business name.
Yeah.
And he contracts with her, and so he may have 4 or 5 of her suits for sale here.
Mhm.
He's up by Springfield, Missouri. So,
But what she does is when she makes a suit, and of course her has the waistcoat, which is the vest, be a certain material, and she'll take some of that material, and when she makes a Mrs. Claus's dress, she'll use that in that dress, and that will be the only dress like that in the world. Because she does not.
well, she may use that same material, but the style of the dress would be different. She would change something up, because she says, I don't want any Mrs. Clauses showing up at a parade or something that they might do
Wearing the same outfit.
that gets a little pricey too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It gets pricey, and that's why then we've had to get the insurance just to cover our costumes.
We're not supposed to use that word, are we?
Well,
we do.
we don't care.
We don't care.
There are some
that do.
People that will get extra.
Well,
it's a suit.
Yeah.
Suit,
Whatever,
costume.
suit, outfit, I don't care. It's just whatever pops out of my mouth at the time. But yeah, we have to be careful with our cleaners.
And then you do hats and belts and boots. Is that from the same source or different?
Yeah, well, you can get it from different places. Where I get mine from this stuff for Santa, my belts. I started wearing with it. It's a synthetic belt, but it's not the flimsy
Plastic.
Where you say it's a little bit thicker, looks like leather, but it's a lot lighter. I have leather belts, but they get heavy.
And then you can buy different belt buckles.
So I get my belt buckles somewhere else.
About 5 or 6 of those that are all different Christmassy.
Yeah.
Belt buckles.
I normally stay away from anything. So some of the guys will wear like big old belt buckles that Santa on it.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
Okay, you know who I am. Why do I have to wear my name? So I will not wear one of those. I have one that looks like it's round and it's a snowflake. It's the normal one I wear. Then I have a nativity scene one that I will wear if I'm going into like a church if I don't have time to change, because I actually got a waistcoat that's a nativity scene. That if I don't go to church, I will wear that. Or religious. So I always try matching my outfits to where I'm going.
Okay.
And like 2 years ago, the green suit was the most popular thing in the photographer world. Everybody wanted the green, and I was sitting there. I had one at that time, and I'm one accident away from being in real trouble because the length of time it takes to get it clean, or if they even got rid of it, I couldn't replace it. Because to get a new suit, basically from her, if it's what we do, we talked to her in the first part of January, and it will be here right before November.
Be here about September.
November. It takes her a while to build them. Put them together.
That's a whole different business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. And there's no one in the
You-
States that does
Yeah,
that.
you
Well,
can
you
get you can
can. Oh,
get
yeah,
good
they're
quality
ours. We
suits
just
from off
like
the rack,
hers.
like
Like hers.
from a place called Adele's or Pro Santa. Bird.
Birds. Yeah, I saw them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know, like Pro Santa, things like that. You can get good
Adele's
quality.
of Hollywood.
The old Hollywood.
Okay. And then
Santa's tailor. So there
Yeah.
are people here that do custom suits. It just depends on what you're looking
And
for.
they're usually around $400 to $500, and a lot of the mall Santas will wear that type of suit.
The cheaper.
They're cheaper because if they get extra, then they're okay, or they'll have multiples of that same suit. Especially pants. Pants will wear out before anything else does.
because people are.
But yeah, because kids are rubbing it and all that.
And what about boots?
Boots. I got boots. I got two different words. Sometimes they're cowboy boots, what they call with boot toppers on them. They look like the white fur.
Yeah.
Then I got regular Santa boots that come up that zip. So I don't do the covers on my boots. So, but shoes are kind of hard for me to come by anyway, just because of my foot size.
Thinking by the end of a 2 or 3 hour stand-in shift, you're getting pretty tired on your
Yeah, it's not just too bad.
Yeah, most of the time, well, for him anyway, he's usually sitting.
Yeah.
And if I go with him, they don't always have a seat for me, which is kind of weird. I might ought to say, I need a seat, guys.
Yeah.
So I'm usually standing a whole lot more than what he is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the nature of the character
Yeah.
and stuff.
Well, do you have to provide your own background sometimes, or do they?
We don't.
We don't. Some of them do. We don't. I do have a throne or a chair that if they need it. I do have access to a background if they want that, but normally they have their own setup that they want to use, so that's okay with that. And with corporate visits, a lot of times you're not stationary anyway. You're moving around. You're like at the front door greeting people. They're coming in. They're doing their photoshops. You're going around the tables or things like that. Usually, what we try doing is if they have a band going is right before they started, of course the band's playing or whatever, we'll have them do a dance music and we'll do the first dance of Mr. and Mrs. Claus, and then we can say do our farewell and get out of there. Our call and response.
Do you ever get tired of being in the spirit of Christmas?
Yeah, you get tired. You get tired.
And
And
I-
then we get back to my question, then how do you self-care then? How do you relax after a day like a tough day?
I don't want to hear any Christmas music.
Okay.
I don't want to watch any Christmas movie. I want to just be as far away from it as I can.
Yeah,
And honestly, part of it though, that's just kind of my background because Christmas was not a big deal. This venture that we are on, I will say it is his passion. And I'm there to support him. And that's really, I can't say that it's my passion, but I can pull off a good act, and you won't know that because you're like, oh, you're so good at it. And in my mind, I'm just like, I really would rather be home doing something else. But you learn how to adjust to it. But when I'm done, I'm done. And I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to put that dress on again. I don't want to put that wig on again. But once I get it on, I'm okay. It's...
And usually we'll talk about after an event. We may talk a little bit about what went right, what went wrong, what should we done different, and then
We've really only had one event that when we left said, yeah, we could have done better. And I think that we were so worn out by the time we got to that one that we had just kind of
mentally
we were going out. There's been times when we would literally start at 8 o'clock in the morning, which means we're getting dressed at 6:45 or 7, because now you've got to travel wherever you're going.
You're already in gear.
You're already in gear, and you have to be on set at 8 a.m. We have literally gone from that until about 9:30 at night,
9:30,
non-stop, except for the travel time in between. And you get exhausted, and you'll do that an entire weekend. We try not to do that now. It just got too much.
Yeah.
And that was back when we didn't want to say no to anybody. We wanted to be there for everybody and accommodate them. And so, okay, well, we've got 20 minutes. We can, you want us at 7, how about 7:30? I can be there at 7:30, so you're adjusting everything. But we were literally working 13, 14 hours a day on weekends for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, weekends are worse than during the week. So
yeah, during the week, like I said, it's usually photo sessions, and that's usually him, so I don't have to deal with that. And those are going to be 3 to 4 hours at a time.
Mostly in a pretty close radius to where you are.
yeah.
Mostly. Last year we did go down to Lawton for an event, for a photo shoot. We went to Ardmore.
Yeah,
not Lawton. Altus,
Ardmore, but those are
That's pretty
those are already pre-planned. We got them this year, so we were able to adjust around. There's a photographer here in this Newcastle area, that kind of our hometowns, and what's kind of interesting because did Ardmore. We've done it twice now down there. Well, the first year was not well attended, and I mean she still had quite a few. Last year we got there and they were lined up
before we ever
got there.
It was just
insane.
Like they were in line for Taylor Swift tickets.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, there was probably 75, 80 people lined up waiting for Santa to come in.
Well, you kind of wonder if that's post-reaction to COVID, that finally people are catching up with things.
Well, in Ardmore, they don't have a Santa. That's what we've been told.
We go to Lindsay. There's a bank down in Lindsay that wants us every year. So we go down. We got that one. So yeah, we go to where we went out west to that church.
Hydro.
Okay, well.
And it was kind of funny with that one because we did them in Hinton, the pastor, and then we're at Hinton. Because I remember talking to him and said, "You coming this far?" Well, Hinton's not that far for us. Not from Newcastle.
Not really.
That's where we lived in Newcastle. No, I can do Hinton. I go to Harrah, which is about the same distance. So we did that, and they kind of disappeared. And last year they called her and says, "You got any availability on Sunday evening? We'll take whatever Sunday you got, making your day." Where you at now? We're at Hydro. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's see if we can figure this one out. So we did.
So by now you can pick and choose.
We're getting a little more picky.
Your reputation is set too.
And with him, what is so funny, because he has become, there's a Facebook group of moms that follow him. They want him. Last year we did a photo shoot that we found out that the lady brought her about 2 or 3 year old, flew from Iowa just to have pictures made with him, and then was flying back. She says, "No, I saw his picture. I want him." So whatever arrangements she needed to make, she was determined that she was going to have it. Another lady, I guess she had her kid's picture made with another Santa somewhere else that day, and they must have stopped, and she was looking on her phone, and she saw where all of a sudden there was an opening here in Newcastle at the photographer. I got one opening, and she grabbed it. She says, "That's the one I've always wanted, was him. I don't want any other Santa." And so there's several people out there that you've been their Santa about the last 5 or 6 years, solid, and that's all they want. They don't care. Tell us when you're available. That's the night we'll take you. Yeah. We have a home visit that family that's kind of their way to do it is that we don't care. We're open. You tell me what night you're available. Oh. And
that makes you feel pretty good, doesn't it?
It's a lot of pressure too.
A lot of pressure, but it's kind of like really. I'm kind of it's something I really did not realize, and that's one reason why I do the Rotary Club is because we do so many private events, and I got so many people. Where you'll be in public, and so I say, okay, I'm gonna be here in public if you want to come see me.
Yeah, because a lot of the photographers, they're charging $200, $250 for a photo shoot. Yeah. Not everybody can afford that.
Right.
So you kind of want to make yourself, so we say, okay, this is a public event. It's going to be, at this parade or at the whatever. And it gets really limited because they want their Santa, but a lot of them can't afford. And like I said, we don't set those prices at the photographers. She's paying
Yeah.
our fee, and then the one where he got started, the photographer in town, it's just something. She's fabulous. She's a fabulous photographer. Everybody follows her. Now, everybody also hates her.
She's a hot mess.
She's a hot mess in more ways than one. But her photos are absolutely the top. And so they're all trying to emulate her. And because they saw him working with her, now they want, well, I saw your pictures, from her. Can you be my Santa too? I'm like, oh my gosh.
A lot of it's word of mouth.
It's word of mouth.
You can never retire then.
No, one of these days, yes, I will retire.
Well,
10 more years
Yeah.
at least, maybe.
our daughter lives in San Antonio, and she says she cannot open Facebook without seeing him spread all over. He's in everybody's pictures. Because she hasn't really come out and told the grandkids what we do. I think the oldest one's figured it out. That
Yeah.
it's,
Because she's
it's
the one
all
who's 12
hush
now.
hush. Yeah, you can't tell them.
This may be off the wall too. Have you thought about what your epitaph will be on your headstone?
Won't be Santa.
Curly mustache.
Mustache. No
I'm
problem.
sure there'll be something in the obituary about it, but I don't know whether I want that on the headstone necessarily.
You don't want a little kid going to the cemetery. Go, there lies Santa dead. Oh no!
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. I need
Yeah,
to.
because a lot of the guys say, I didn't change my name. Legally change it to Santa Claus? No.
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
Or are the glasses a part of the?
Well, they are, but also I actually got a habit for reading.
Okay.
My arms have gotten too short as I gotten
Okay.
older. So yeah, no, they're actually prescription strength.
So how long does it take you to get in full, ready to go out the door?
If it's a scene, I got everything ready, but 20 minutes, 20,
yeah.
25 minutes, yeah.
And then when you finish at a place, do you come home and change, or do you?
Depends.
Try to, if you can.
Yeah.
A lot of times if we get finished in the evening and maybe we haven't had time to eat. So depending on the time, a lot of times we would prefer to come home and change and get out of them,
Yeah.
but sometimes that's just not an option. So you have to go into a restaurant in full gear, which then you know what's going to happen there, because if there's any customers, they're all over at your table and, oh, can you pose with my picture? And so,
A lot of selfies.
yeah, a lot. But we have gone in to eat a few places.
And kind of what I learned if we go to a restaurant, of course, I don't have the parade coat on. It's got the waistcoat and all that. And sometimes I'll go to a sports car cap instead of my Santa hat. Instead of me going to the table and letting them all come to me, I said, okay, I'll just go ahead and go around to everybody. Then I can sit down. I'm usually not disturbed after that.
Yeah.
But then there's always somebody that's going to pay for our meal.
Yeah.
But we still get that too.
Yeah.
I mean, not too long ago, we were up at the restaurant in Newcastle, and he was interacting with a couple of kids.
I was dressed like this.
Didn't even have the Santa
That is,
box on.
yeah.
And was interacting with them, and this other customer in there who did not have a child in the interaction, he walked by and he says, "That was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. You guys are rock." Well, we didn't realize it. We think he's the one that paid for our meal.
Yeah, a lot of times we don't know.
Because we'll sit there and go, "Well, where's our check?" They go, "Oh no, it's already been paid for." Well, heck, I should have ordered a steak if I didn't know that was happening.
A nice perk.
So that happens.
Another nice perk.
That happens a lot when you least expect it, and it's much appreciated. I don't need to do that, but it just kind of says, "Yeah, man, there's really some nice people out there that."
Yeah, when a child approaches, I drop into the Santa mindset, and so I talk to them, and usually I ended up, so remember, I know you're good, but also be kind. And
Did they ever ask what's my name?
Yeah.
yep, I only know your elfish name, which you won't understand. Or, this time of year, I only know the children's name that are kind of on the naughty list, so that's why I don't know your name. So you really want me to know your name? And mostly, no.
Okay. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, you know, what did you get me last year for Christmas? Well, I don't know. What did you ask for? You know, I'm sure you
I'm
put
really
me
not thinking about, last year's Christmas gift. I'm thinking about this year's. I don't think you want the same thing, do you?
So you got to be thinking on your toes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of improv.
A lot. Yeah, most of it is
Improv, yeah.
improvisation.
Is there a question that you've not been asked before? I mean, the odd question.
Not really. Some of the stuff, especially working with the Head Start programs, one of the answered requests was, I want a house for my mom and dad. Or, so you say, well,
We've had someone, we had a little boy one time who says, can you make my mommy not have so many headaches so she doesn't yell at us? Can you bring my dead grandpa back?
have you talked to my
Have
dad?
you talked to my grandpa?
Oh.
He died, I mean, it's,
I've had that.
you do get some of that. And again, you've got to stay in character and not, because we're both fairly emotional people anyway, probably him more than me at this point, but you can't let that, they don't want to see you in tears with them. So you just kind of say, well, I'm not a magician. I can only, we're just toy makers. We don't.
I had one little girl a couple of years ago. She was going to ask me if I talked to her papa. He died a couple of months before. And luckily I caught wind of it. The photographer backfilled me and she was over color. So I went over color with her. And so, picked me out of color and she did. And it's in the color. And I said, I got a message for you. And she looked at me funny. I said, your papa says hi. Can you give me another color? So I quickly changed the subject so she wouldn't start grilling me, because then all that. And she goes, will you take this picture back to him? I said, sure. I said, I'll write it up here. I want you to sign it down here. And let's go have your picture made with it. That way you have a copy of it too. So that's how we then went over and did the photo shoot. And
You're just a natural.
He really, I mean, he
really,
and not all the Santas are like that.
Yeah. And it really helped her because the mom wrote the photographer. And to get, past that, being mad. Because she knew her papa was okay because Santa talked to him.
You bring a lot of joy. At the end of the day, that's got to be your...
There's always that one event every year that makes your season. That was that event for that year. So there's always one in there. And the other thing you gotta, when you start working, is because you got to stay in character.
You
should, yeah. You learn code words. So like your photographer that you're working with. So like I'm doing the photo shoot at school. I have a code word like hot chocolate. I had hot chocolate today or whatever. So if the kid is telling me something I think that needs to be reported, I'll say, I had hot chocolate today. So that tells everybody in front of the camera or behind the camera that this child here just told me something. So they need to back brief me or they already know what it is. And we was at a photo shoot doing Christmas in July. And what the guy was doing was not illegal because we was in a public area. But he pulled his cell phone out and started taking pictures of me and the kids. Which, okay, I don't particularly care for that. I really can't shut it down. But I can, I want some peppermint at 2 o'clock. So that tells the photographer or someone at 2 o'clock is taking pictures that really shouldn't be, and they can handle it. Let the parent handle it. So you learn things like that.
So you got the emotional side, the financial side, the practical
Business side.
All of it.
It literally turned into something that we never imagined it was this big of a deal.
It's been a pretty good retirement gig.
Yeah.
It's been not
been
bad.
Good.
Yeah.
It's definitely I'm not sitting around the house twiddling my thumbs, I'll tell you that.
I'm just thinking it's one of those positive things though that's as for aging folks to think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing.
Well, we've even done retirement homes
Yeah.
And that can be a lot of fun because then they kind of are becoming kids again too, kind of like going to the VA center. I mean, but
Yeah.
they're just not in that bad a shape. But the I call them the elderly. I may be part of them. I'm not sure, but seeing their faces and they get just such a kick. And of course, he'll sit there and talk to him. He'll say, "I remember when you were a little girl." And those little old ladies, I mean, they're just, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah, they just melt all over him. Then you have the other people, the adult women, not necessarily older, who will try to make a pass at Santa. They think they have free reign to say or approach him or proposition him in any way that they want. His brother did a sorority party. And
I can only imagine that.
well, just one of the girls told him that she'd be going up to her room if he got lonely. He said, "Yeah, I think I'm good." We did our office party that we worked with these people, and they know that he is the Santa at the event. And the liberties that some of those women were taking with him and me standing there was a little awkward. It's like so now because they wouldn't have dared, I don't think they would have been so
forthcoming if I was just me.
If it was just him like this, but you let him put on that Santa outfit, now it's back up, got girls, I'm going after him. No. So you've got to deal with that too. Santa doesn't want to be where he shouldn't be. One time he did an adult only party at a champagne bar. I wasn't there at that one.
No. Had the French shirt, that one.
He said he felt like he was at the rose ceremony of The Bachelor with all the beautiful, gorgeous women in their evening gowns and stuff. And so it's like, yeah, I don't really want to do that kind of event anymore. Or people will walk, we want you to come and hand out liquor. Nope.
And I got booked into that one by an agency that I would
that we don't work for them anymore.
The only good thing about that one, I did get to talk to, at that time, she's Miss Oklahoma. She's really nice, and, we got along really well, so had some fun together.
On the silver lining, there you go.
Yeah. But, a lot of the Santas will work for a booking agency that will hire characters out, but most of them just do their own advertisement. Just either word of mouth or on Facebook.
Gig Salad.
There's a website where if you're a belly dancer, you can advertise on Gig Salad, but for people wanting an entertainer for their event, you can go in and pick out, okay, what kind, you want the Easter Bunny, do you want belly dancer, do you need a guitar player, whatever, and there's a Santa and Mrs. Claus on there that you can then start booking. So we've gotten a lot of jobs through that as well. You get to set your own price. What do you think you're worth?
How do you figure that? I wouldn't. You don't have to tell me. I'm just saying it would be hard to do.
Well, initially, when you're trying to get started, you're going to lowball yourself,
right?
Because you want to work, and then you realize your own worth.
Yeah.
And
that's one of the good things about being part of the organization is we kind of talk among ourselves. So the Santas of your caliber, and I hate saying it that way, but
there is,
and kind of what they're charging. So you kind of match the prices in there all together.
But you have to take it in. You have to take in your location. Because somebody in Oklahoma City can charge more than somebody in
Branson, even.
Well, or in Tecumseh, Oklahoma, or it's not one of the smaller cities. So you've got to kind of look at your population and that and then if the customer says, well, I can't afford that. Well, okay, what can you afford?
If you
Well,
want.
what is your budget?
Yeah, what is
And
your
then
budget?
maybe you can come down a little bit if you really want to do the job, or you can recommend them someone else. Well, maybe this guy might be better for you, that you know is maybe not quite.
I mean, you have to consider your expense too.
Right.
And all those, I would,
Expense, travel,
your insurance and your
Yeah.
Insurance,
and-
background checks,
Yeah.
I mean, all of
and
it.
your
yeah.
closet.
closet, fuel for the car, stuff like that. And that's how I've done some events at this, like I did a parade in Oklahoma, which up around Tulsa. And their Santa felt he got injured, couldn't do it, so I did that one. I really did it for nothing. Just to barely get what they paid me, pay for the gas up there and back, and did all that. But I kind of did that because that's my mom's hometown. So yeah, I'll do that as a special one. I don't want to do it again. I'm good. So that was quite an interesting parade because it had me riding in a john boat, standing up, pulled down the street. So yeah, I got my sea legs on land. But other than that, it was a fantastic parade for a small town on Sunday evening. I mean, it was about 45 minutes or so long. So it was a good parade. So yeah, he just kind of hit in this way.
Yeah, I think and between November and that December 25th, there's not that many weekends.
Nope.
So
And this year, there's one less
That's
weekend.
because it's like
Okay,
Yeah,
because it falls
later,
later
yeah.
between, so, yeah, and just getting him scheduled and working with everybody's time schedule is just a nightmare. And there's been days I thought I was going to slip my wrist.
Because she does all the bookings.
Because I want to make them all happy, and I want to accommodate as many as we can, but sometimes it's just not possible. We've got one photographer that we only maybe saw her for 2 events. Now she wants him for 6 different times. Well, now she's cutting into somebody else's.
unless she wants to go earlier.
Yeah.
Do
Or
October.
earlier or during the week is also another good time because
But everybody wants weekends.
weekends, that makes it tough.
Hmm.
Because I usually try, I want at least about, unless I really know the location of photographers, I really like about an hour in between events. And I'm guaranteed that much time, that gives me enough time to get there. If I do need to eat something, either have my little snack with me or pull through a drive-through real quick and get some fries and a small drink.
That's cool for the window person.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where the cards come in handy to go ahead.
Here's a free frosty.
Oh, and then they're bringing everybody that works. Oh my gosh, look who's at the window.
Yeah.
I guess Mrs. Claus gets to drive through the window. It might cut down on
Yeah,
some.
Yeah.
but he usually is driving. They don't care that I'm there. They
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Well, you two are great. Though. I can see why that people are.
You also
attracted.
learn that Starbucks is your friend,
not because of the coffee.
not because of the coffee. Well, and it says a lot of people don't realize that restrooms. So if I have to go to the restroom while we're in our outfits, you really can't stop at on-cue and go in where everybody.
No.
So you learn where the private restrooms are at. Starbucks normally has those.
And not a lot of kids.
Not a lot of kids, so you get in and out. And,
They usually do more drive-through business than walk-in. That's
yeah. So you learn things like that. So you always try planning your day. You always say that's why I like that hour in there. And I always like to try to get to an event at least 15 minutes beforehand. Get time set up and all that. And if we got to check, the lights, the photos and all that.
do you keep candy canes with you?
Don't do candy
No.
canes.
You don't know who's going to be allergic or that's got red food dye.
So I do stickers.
Okay.
And I'll let you have a sticker when we get done. I got to get some more orders.
Yeah.
That's why I do the stickers. So you have the
Oh,
stickers
that makes
out.
sense. Yeah. You don't
Now,
know
if the host provides them,
Yeah.
we will hand them out at that point, but we will not bring them and hand them out. We don't want that.
Because you got
Liability.
choking hazard, you got food allergy, like that. So stickers are the safe one.
Yeah. Do a checklist before you leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and he has a little bucket of props and stuff that we use for, which we still got to go pick up. But like fake reindeer noses, the red ball, I think that Walgreens would sell. Well, we will use those for photo shoots, with the kids, and everybody has a reindeer nose on.
Had some snowballs in there too.
Snowballs that we throw.
'Cause sometimes you throw it at, have a snowball, you throw it at a kid, and they'll throw it back and kind of start playing with them, and they'll come, be more apt to come in. Because I try to portray the grandpa, Mr. Santa Claus. I'm the loving grandpa, not the authoritarian, so that seems to.
Got a screaming chicken.
Yeah. I always find a prop that I carry with me that, and say like I had a tie-dye screaming chicken I did not last year but the year before. And I said, "What do you want for Christmas?" "I don't know." I said, "Well, you may want to think about it because my elves made a bunch of these and they're playing with them all the time. Miss Claus told me to get rid of them. You want to see what it is?" "Sure." I pull out this tie-dye screaming chicken. They look at me funny. "Squeeze it." And they squeeze and scream. The parents go, oh, I like it. So, no. You want tie-dye screaming? "No, not really." "Well, you got some time. You better think about it. You may get a tie-dye screaming chicken."
Last year it was a yodeling pickle.
Press a button and yodels.
You got a humor.
So so I don't know what it is. I'm looking at pig, but I'm also looking at screaming goat.
For this year.
Yeah,
you got to change it up.
So you got to change it up. So I figure about every 3 to 4 years I go back to what I had and just rotate them. Because then by that time the kids have aged out or whatever.
Yeah. So do you keep a running tab of what you've used when?
You kind of, in my mind, I do. But,
Yeah, we don't have anything written down necessarily.
But I always tell that, like if I'm doing when I did a tie-dye screaming chicken, I always tell the photographer, Amazon is where I got it, or wherever I got it at, and that way the parents ask, they can get it.
Yeah.
The other thing is if the child gives you a letter to read, you read the letter, take a picture of it, but you always hand it back to the photographer or their helper, because some of the parents want that letter back, some don't. That way you hand it back and you go ahead and keep doing the photo session, and they can slide it back to the parents.
Yeah.
In that way, it's.
So you're a magician, a humorist, counselor, educator.
Yep.
All of the above.
All the above. Friend.
So it's.
Yeah.
Wow.
And some of the weird stuff I had asked for me this year, which kind of shocked me. I had a girl, she's about 14, 15, asked me for a double barrel shotgun. And I said, okay. And of course, a lot of times the kids ask for a BB gun. I always say, you're not going to shoot your eye out, are you? Or something like that. They always laugh. Okay, you want a double barrel shotgun? I said, you want over and under, side by side? Over and under. Well, okay, because I knew where this is going. Modified choke, full choke, So I started going, what gauge? 12, 20, and 12 gauge. Well, come to find out, she did competitive trap shooting. And she wanted a new shotgun for trap shooting. So.
Did you also get asked for a crossbow?
A customized compound bow. And each both of them girls, and she was a competitive bow shooter. So, yeah.
Well, you have to pull on your knowledge of all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any of that, so I couldn't go along. I just you want to okay.
Or I want a rifle, so I'll go deer hunting. So you're not gonna hunt reindeer, are you? No. Okay, I'm going to hunt reindeer. You don't shoot your eye. I never tell a kid no on a gun. I say, you want to be careful and safe and, and all that. And just,
On toys that might be dangerous or even like electronics, they're wanting a new iPhone or iPad.
I got to get permission.
Say, okay, we have to get permission because those have data plans and mom and dad have to pay for it. So, you kind of throw it back that, parents are in charge, just like the pet thing. Yeah. And he says, are you sure you don't want me to bring you a dog? Because you may not like the dog I bring you. I may bring you a great big, I
may bring you a Great Dane. You want a little foo-foo dog.
So.
I may bring you a little foo-foo dog. You want a big Great Dane.
So you don't want to throw the parents under the bus and leave them like, oh, now I got to get this present for them. Say, well.
About the only thing I do pull sometimes out, it just depends on the age of the child, is because most kids love Skittles. And because they're talking about cookies. I say, you like Skittles? Yeah. I do too, but hardly anybody ever leaves me any Skittles. well, this year when you leave your cookies out, can you leave just about 4 or 5 green red Skittles out for me? And so that figured that was an easy one to fulfill. So
Yeah.
so
Fun stuff.
yeah.
It's work, but it's also
Oh, yeah, it's
it's
work.
fun.
Yeah. By the end of the season, you're mentally and physically exhausted, and you're ready for. You understand why Santa needs a long winter's nap.
Okay. Time for your Hawaiian shorts and shirt and
Yeah.
Time
lazy
for-
boy chair.
Yeah.
Well, they usually ask us what we're doing after Christmas. I said, he's taking me to the beach, and whether he is or not, but that's our story.
Yeah.
That I want to get away. So,
Everybody-
Not back to the North Pole.
nope.
That way, go back to North Pole. We get everything taken care of when everybody starts their vacation. Elves leave and all that. We go to the skeleton crew.
Well, it makes sense.
One thing the kids will do, they'll ask you, how many elves do you have? Well, you got to have a number. So, and it'll change usually every time. I say, I think there was like 6,325, then so you may just give them something. Oh, wow.
And I used to say, well, I really don't know. Mrs. Claus keeps up with all
Yeah,
the
he
elves.
throws me under the bus on that.
Well, that also helped us keep our number, because if I say 5,320, she
And
says
I don't know.
6,000,
Yeah.
then because we may not be together when they ask us these questions, so sometimes
And sometimes numbers is not something good we need to try to remember.
so that's why I told you, like, how old are you? And there's two different schools of thoughts. Is some say 1,700, whatever St. Nicholas' birthday is. Some will go off the movie The Santa Claus and the Snow Globe and say their actual age.
Yep.
I do the original Miracle on 34th Street says I'm old as my tongue and a little older than my teeth. No number. So they got to figure it out.
And I'll just tell her, I say, you don't ask a lady her age.
That's true.
When's our anniversary?
I don't remember. We've been married for so long, I forgot. Sometime in June, I think.
Summer
solstice.
Summer solstice.
But whatever day that is.
The longest day of the year.
I really haven't been asked that.
Yeah, so that's one of
Well, when were you really married? No, you're not in character.
the.
Not in character.
We're in a couple of weeks. About a week. It'll actually be 21 years. We're
March the 10th.
March.
No, May 10th. May 10th. Had the M right.
Yeah.
May
M.A.
10th.
But
May
Mr. and
10th.
Mrs. Claus,
May 10th.
Forever.
who knows forever, I
Yeah.
guess.
Since forever.
Well, someone said, how did you meet? And we got that backstory. Well, I was delivering gifts and she saw me and she said, "It's Nicholas?" I said, "Yes, dear." Said, I'm gonna meet you again in a few years. And I was at a market somewhere and she came up to me, say, "You're Nicholas, aren't you?" And then, "Yeah, I'm Nicholas." And we got to meet and started dating and got married shortly after that. So she's younger than I am. But she's gone to the magical world of the North Pole where aging stops.
I wish. Please take me there.
Yeah, so how did we meet? So
Well, aging's not relevant really to this, except that if you're natural, it's easier
Right.
easier to maintain.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, been fun. I know we're running out of
oh,
time.
okay.
too.
Yeah, I know what time it is.
Almost noon.
Yeah, I can end with, do you have a highlight, one or two highlights of all the 10 years or so that you've been doing this?
Highlight.
Too many to pick from.
Yeah, there have just been, and probably just because it was the most recent, was probably the fire truck, riding on the fire truck for me. But then that was just last year, and it was so unexpected, and because I really didn't want to do it, but it was great. I loved it, and I don't know. They're all, every one of them has something special about it.
Yeah.
The people, their reactions to us.
Yeah.
because so many people say, well, if there was a real Santa, you guys are it. And that's from the adults.
Probably for me, it'd be when we did the England.
Okay.
Presentation in England, because that really shocked me, because the guy that we follow, he is talented. He is really, he did the European Coke commercial. His name's Kevin Curtin. He's over there. A lot of their guys are actors, and this is he's got a full time. I'll say full time Santa. He has the beard and stuff, and he was. He does the Santa Bebop or whatever.
Yeah, he's got some things on YouTube that are just
he's very
mind blowing. I mean, he dances and he sings and he writes his own.
Yeah, so we're following him.
So we're following him after his presentation of what he's been doing, and I went, "Are you freaking kidding me? No!" And I told the host of the conference, I said, "Sammy, I'm going to kick your butt all the way. I can't. Why would you do this to us? We needed to be beforehand." And what was amazing, we were just saying, this is what we do. We don't know that this is
stuff and all that.
They were wanting the American Santa. Well, I don't know. All I know is what we do.
Yeah.
And so we did about an hour presentation on things that we did and had a slideshow and all this. And they were just going, "You did, we need to talk to you. We need to ask you this." Well, we couldn't stay because we had a train to catch to get back to London because our flight left the next day. But they were just, we'd still probably be there and made so many friends, but just being with them and how they interact, because a lot of the Santas here, really, it's almost, sometimes it can get kind of cutthroat.
Yeah,
it's very competitive.
The best way I describe it is my guy got my brother to this level, and because he did Santa, this guy like I did, the volunteer, and had his suit and stuff. We're almost like football coaches. The way I describe it to him is we're buddy outside the season. When season starts, we're not going to be buddies anymore. We're going to be competitors. And I'm going to tell you some secrets. I'm not going to tell you everything. And
we do a lot of events or have up in Edmond. There is a Santa up in Edmond. He says, "Well, this is my town. That should be my gig."
No.
Well, they contacted me. And then he's trying to get down here. Well, I got a friend that owns a business in Newcastle. He's wanting me to be Newcastle. Well, whatever you want to do, but we're already signed up. They've already got us locked down, so. But they think because you're in their region of where they live, then now that's their area.
Yeah.
And if they don't get, this one guy that got hired for the parade in Newcastle that the kids didn't like because he was bald. And we know him. In fact, we mentored him and his wife for their first year. Well, so she keeps calling back, "Aren't you going to hire us back? Aren't you going to hire us?" And the city manager says, "No, we've already got one." She goes, "Oh, let me guess. It's Santa Kelly." And he goes, "Well, yeah, it is." Well, then she kind of chewed me out about it because, we had taken their gig. And I said, "No, it's my community and they don't want you." I couldn't say that to her, but there was a lot of reasons they didn't want him back.
They didn't want her.
It was her. She's the problem. But she'll never see this. I don't care. But it really gets extremely competitive. Mm-hmm. And, well, why are you giving him your extra gigs? Why aren't you giving us your extra gigs? That's his brother. You're not the brother.
Yeah.
If
he can't do it, I'll throw it up on the members only Facebook page. I'll put it up there. And to become part of the members only Facebook is you got to turn in a background check. So a current one. So we know any Santa on there, if it's Claus, that takes a gig off of that is background check. It should be,
because anybody can be on our public
page. Our public page is open for everybody. So we did not post jobs there. We only do it on the members only page.
Your reputation is at stake too.
Yeah. Well, it just takes one time because we work with a lady that Probably know her name's Becky Norman. She used to do the Bass Pros and all of that nationwide, and
She's
she
with
just
Hire Santa.
Hire Santa basically took over her business. She let it go. She still does some, but she said it only takes one Santa
To ruin it for
running
everybody.
for everybody. You know, Bass Pro Santa just got dinged for being a child molester. What's that going to do to the Santa community? So yeah, so a lot of the agencies will run you through a background check. You don't even turn one in. You get a background check where you go to work for them, and they want to make sure.
That makes parents feel better.
Yeah.
And a lot of the parents may not even know that.
Yeah.
That's true.
They might
That's
not
true.
know.
Yeah,
They're
they
not
will.
requiring it, but a lot of the corporate things they will, because they want to save themselves too. A big lawsuit.
Mhm.
So, there's
But it's,
way more in this than we ever dreamed about. It's mind blowing.
But you would still do it knowing what
Oh,
you
yeah.
know now if you.
I would do it.
Yeah.
They start a little earlier.
It's okay.
Because there's actually
it's
a
not bad.
Santa shortage. There's more work out there than we can handle.
Yeah, and we're at the point now where we can pick and choose. And if we don't want to do it, we say, I'm sorry, we're busy.
Because, well, it said take a certain look, and most of the guys are older, so they're not going to do it. But no, there's a Santa shortage out there nationwide.
All right then.
So,
Good Santas. Anyway,
yeah.
blue-eyed Santas.
Blue-eyed, yeah.
I only say that my mother had the prettiest blue eyes, and yours are close to hers. So
And a waist on a man. I said,
Yeah.
got the blonde hair and the blue eyes? Are you
the
kidding
thick
me?
nails.
Stop. And thick nails. I was like, oh, this is not fair.
on that note, I will say thank you very much for
welcome.
You're
joining
welcome.
with me. It's been great.
Well, thank you for asking us to be part of your event here.
And Santa doesn't say ho ho ho.
Nope.
Nope, he laughs.
Just like you do.